Yeah, because if it's not doctored, and if she texted him or he texted her, like such specific details, because I can make up a story and that's great if there's no evidence. But nowadays, someone's always recording. It's written somewhere because people just text 24/7 and like, cool, I'll delete the text off my phone, but the history is still there. How old is Misty? Is she like, I'm guessing she's not like 18, 19. She's probably like
Right.
40. Yeah. Um, because then there's this whole other situation where people are, oh, how could a 24-year-old do that to the 16-year-old? But then, like, when they're 20 and 28, nobody bats an eye,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um, but yeah, those texts should definitely be used, absolutely. And I don't know what side is being conflict or what's the conflicting story and who's saying what, but I mean, was it?
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready?
Nope.
For a long journey where our podcast released a new app and searching for a fade fiend. New fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones. They gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text with friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talking wisdom I know.
Welcome in, everyone. I got Polly Pockets in the building today. Polly, what's popping? How you feeling?
It's April. I can feel summer's around the corner. I'm ready to go take walks outside, play outside, run out, do everything outside, everything that I didn't do this whole winter. So it's definitely 'tis the season for the good feelings.
Would you say it's mountain climbing weather?
If you're into that, for sure. But not me. I'm good.
I want to offer you something.
Uh-oh.
Climbing Mount Everest is seen as the ultimate achievement, but in the death zone above 8,000 meters, the mountain keeps over 200 climbers who never made it back. Some even becoming part of the route, like the infamous green boots. Up there, Everest doesn't forgive mistakes, reminding us that some places demand respect more than conquest. Do you think the pursuit of extreme achievement is worth the risk when the cost can literally become part of the path for others?
I think for some it is. That's their motivation. It's not for me, and probably not for a lot of people who don't even think of climbing Mount Everest. But I guess for some, they feed off that adrenaline. Same people like that runner's high or that high off whatever life drug you're on, right? So I mean, but you can sit and say like, well, driving a car could end your life. How many people will die from car accidents? And that's not even being extreme and knowing, there's a risk, but you don't think about that risk. So with climbing, I don't know, yeah, there's a risk, but are you going to focus on that or the fact that once you get it, you have this achievement?
I wonder, respect for the dead. So when we see things, sometimes you're like, oh, respect for the dead, right? But we don't do that in the mountain. Like they just leave your body there, like the infamous person with the green boots. And those are markers. So like if you speak Mount Everest, you would tell somebody, yeah, man, I made it up to green boots. But then, yeah, we had to turn back. Like that's, you become part of the story. Anything else, yeah, even if you're in the car, like you were saying, and you're in an accident, they don't leave you on the side of the road. Maybe your family comes along later and they put a little a cross or something to remember you by, but you become part of the journey.
But isn't that like, I guess that's your legacy, right? Instead of just dying and nobody remembering you, at least, and maybe that's why they don't try to, who's going to climb up there and get the bodies? Like that's putting other people in risk. But I guess that's a way to be like, hey, green boots, purple backpack, that's part of it. Like, okay, you've sacrificed for the climb, so we're just going to leave you here. And clearly, like, it's not that bad for the environment, I guess, because the numbers are that few. So I guess it's not having an effect on the mountain and the, what is it? Not agriculture, but whatever environment. Yeah. On the environment.
Yeah. Well, I also saw a similar post about Mount Everest, and they're about to start stopping a little bit of the amount of people that are coming up, because the base camps are looking like trash pits. Because there's this saying, you pack it, you hack it.
Yeah.
So people, when they're leaving camp, they leave trash. They leave items that they've brought this far, but they leave it there and keep on up the mountain. And sometimes when they come back, either their stuff has been covered with snow,
Yeah.
or they just walk right past it back on the way down if they come the same path.
Yeah, I mean, they should limit, for sure. If that's what it is, then fine, let there be a lottery, let there be a limit on how many people can go up at a time, because you're just messing with the environment. You're taking things
Yeah.
for granted, and what's the next step if someone's going to say you can't climb it?
A man admits borrowing money at work to avoid coworkers and maintain personal space. A strategy that kept people away without confrontation, but it risked his reputation and trust. It protected his peace, but may have hurt long-term opportunities. Is protecting your space worth being seen as unreliable, or is there a smarter way to set boundaries?
It's a tough one, because in an office setting, as much as you drop hints and want to set boundaries, some people just don't get it and you can't avoid them. But, I mean, if this is someone at the end of retirement and this is his last job, and he said, yeah, at this point, peace is more important than what comes next, then by all means. But, someone younger in their career, probably that reputation is going to hurt you, especially, I mean, if it's, a reputation at a McDonald's, that's probably not going to hurt you. And you just keep borrowing money from people and people are like, I don't want to talk to him. He keeps taking my money. But if it's a company, the bigger up, the more network it has, then yeah, I'm sure that's probably not the road to go. But some people also really struggle with social situations.
What was that? Couple topics. We get into the relationships. Glorilla posted a video revealing she caught her boyfriend, Brandon Ingram, plays in the NBA, cheating over 5 times. And she thinks she might be pregnant with his kid. She said, he puts a baby in me while he cheating with five of the girls. This is crazy.
Hold on.
I'm putting him on child support. I need $300K a month. Polly, how should Glorilla navigate trust, public pressure, and potential co-parenting with Brandon Ingram if these claims are true? And what does accountability look like in a situation like this?
So we're just going to go past the fact that she said she may be pregnant by his kid. So she's also sleeping around. Oh.
Polly, we talk about Brandon.
You gave me that fact.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I wouldn't have, she should have not spoken up until she knew something. And then if she's not pregnant and it's not his, then just let him go. I mean,
yeah, it's time to walk away, you saying?
She needs something to rap about. I got it. Glorilla. But listen, she sure knew how to pick them.
According to prosecutors, former Misty Roberts is on trial over allegations she had sex with a drunken 16-year-old at a 2024 pool party, with testimony including texts about birth control and a DoorDash delivery of emergency contraception. The case has drawn attention in DeRitter as jurors weigh the evidence and conflicting accounts. How do you think cases like this influence public trust in local officials? And should private messages used as evidence carry the same weight as eyewitness testimony?
Yeah, because if it's not doctored, and if she texted him or he texted her, like such specific details, because I can make up a story and that's great if there's no evidence. But nowadays, someone's always recording. It's written somewhere because people just text 24/7 and like, cool, I'll delete the text off my phone, but the history is still there. How old is Misty? Is she like, I'm guessing she's not like 18, 19. She's probably like 40. Yeah. Because then there's this whole other situation where people are, oh, how could a 24-year-old do that to a 16-year-old? But then like, when they're 20 and 28, nobody bats an eye,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But yeah, those texts should definitely be used, absolutely. And I don't know what side is being conflict or what's the conflicting story and who's saying what, but I mean, was it wrong? Yeah, because unfortunately there are laws that say that age is not, unless she's in a state where that's, I don't know, unless the state where says 16 is okay, but clearly,
Yeah.
or if this is an issue. So yeah,
Yes.
bring all the evidence.
You watch a lot of TV, Polly?
Not too much here and there.
When
So
commercials come on, what do? You sit there, or you
no,
try to get
I run
stuff
away.
done?
I run away. I go
Okay.
get you got to
So
put the laundry in the dryer.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you may not be familiar with this commercial. The Big Lou life insurance commercial jokingly has him admit his first 3 marriages were mistakes before proudly saying his current wife is a trophy wife. The humor works because Big Lou pokes fun at himself while reminding listeners that even people who are overweight or on medication can still qualify for life insurance.
Okay.
Do you think these self-deprecating commercials are more memorable than serious insurance ads? And which ad jingles stick in your head the most?
Yeah, I mean, an ad is supposed to be memorable, and so they, like you said, it's a jingle, right? So, if Trumfia keeps popping up on TV, don't ask me what it is, but if I see it somewhere, I can spell it and I can tell you it's a medication, or Sky Rizzy with all these cartoons dancing,
Yeah.
right? But you have State Farm, right? They're
Yeah.
always, what are they, always there, always reliable. You got Progressive with the signature Flo. Like at this point, like Flo is not as young as she was, so it's time for the new generation of Flo to come in. But Flo got her little crew, house hunting. So they're supposed to be absurd and memorable almost, instead of, because nobody wants to hear like, did you know that if you are a blah 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 blah, you can get qualified for life insurance? Like,
Yeah.
bro, Big Lou and his trophy wife, he can get insurance. Oh, well, I don't have a trophy wife, but I look like Big Lou, so I can get insurance too.
Yes.
So
So then it works.
it works.
I pulled up to pick my wife up, and as soon as I pulled up, there was another car right in front of me that was creeping to go get her. But then as soon as I pull up, she looks at me, and then they drive off. Quick question. Do I have problems?
How do you know the car was there for you? If you're
They were going real slow.
Do you pick her up at a pickup spot? Like the Lyft, Uber, drop off food type of spot? Like the high frequency, like a bus stop, like a no parking area where everybody's gonna do what you're doing?
Yeah.
So you probably just have a problem.
Okay. Because I could have swore
No.
it was a long linger, Polly. Like it was like
by her or by him?
By the car.
Okay.
I mean, she won't stand there like move along. She wasn't gesturing or anything.
Well, so you don't have anything to worry about.
Oh no, we'll come back to this because she get real excited about John Hamm and his Maserati, and if that was John Hamm and his Maserati, she definitely wouldn't have been gesturing to go. She would have been like, stay, and gesturing for me to go. All right. KC Concepcion spoke out after people mocked his stutter following the NFL scouting combine. The Texas A&M Aggies football receiver said he's had the speech impediment since childhood and wants others with similar struggles to know there's nothing wrong with them. Despite the online jokes, Concepcion emphasized that the condition is part of who he is, that he hopes to be a role model for people who are afraid to speak up or be heard. His message: differences shouldn't be a reason for negativity. Do you think athletes showing vulnerability like this helps change how fans treat players online?
I think true fans will just stick to the athletics. Okay. And I think a different type of fan is going to nitpick, especially if people who are not fans are going to nitpick the whole disabilities. But with the NFL, you have to be careful which vulnerability you're sharing.
Yeah.
So you still have to pick and choose what you're sharing because like yeah, everybody's because at one point it was like, oh, if you had an, I mean, still nowadays people feel that way, but if you had an accent and they're like, well, you live in the US, why don't you get rid of your accent? For those people who have no idea, you can't just drop an accent. It's always going to be there. And oh, by the way, some Southern folk have real thick accents that they don't realize are accents. So I think it just depends like what the vulnerability is. Like this one is not a game. It's who he is. Like he couldn't hide it even if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And people who are mocking him, like, really, that's what you're gonna do. But it's still good for people to see that, like, okay, even if you're not confident to talk, you can still succeed elsewhere. Like maybe he's
Yeah.
not a public speaker, but he can be a spokesperson for a cause.
Do you be you?
Yeah.
I like it. I'm proud of that young guy. A couple went viral after a flight they were on where the husband kept his big front seat up front, saying he needed the leg room, while his wife sat in the back, upset that he wouldn't switch. He argued she bought her ticket and could have upgraded too, so he deserved the seat he paid for. If you were on that plane, should he have given up the seat for his wife, or was he right to keep what he purchased?
I mean, there's other issues than the flight. It's like if I buy the flights, I'm gonna buy the same flight for that's her husband, right? It's not like they bought the flights before they were together. Okay. So if I have an upgrade, maybe have that conversation beforehand. He's like, but he paid for it. Like if I have a free upgrade to check in one bag and my spouse doesn't, then it's like, okay, well, my bag is free. Still our finances, hopefully we'll switch it. But listen, she can't be mad, especially if she knew that he went ahead and upgraded for it. Because at the same time, we always expect people like, oh, well, you pay for that ticket and you should give up the seat when families are separated. No, if I pay for extra leg room, I shouldn't go sit where there's not extra leg room because some mom and dad didn't reserve their seats. Like that's the day and age we are now. If you're going to travel, then you have to accept it. Like, yeah, a flight is $292, but not including bags, food, oxygen, everything, right? So you're going to have to pay extra. So they have other issues, but no, he shouldn't move.
And Polly, did you catch the part that she wanted to switch? So it wasn't good enough for him to have the extra leg room. She's like, nah, give me that seat and you go take my seat. It was good for her.
Too. She could have upgraded. They could have well, usually if one person buys it, you can upgrade everyone or pick and choose. So that's why they did their own thing. They're probably not married by now, but like it's different if like, oh, that is my seat. We need to switch. But no, that's her fault. She's closer to the bathroom though.
Yes. A man was arrested after allegedly running a 17-year fraud scheme using a hacked debit card that always showed the exact amount needed for purchases. Investigators say the precision allowed him to travel, shop, and live normally for nearly 2 decades before authorities finally traced the activity. How do you think someone could operate that long without banks detecting it? And what does it say about the weaknesses in modern digital payment systems?
I'm thinking it's some like old person who either died or like a grandkid took the card to be sneaky. And maybe the purchases were not out of the ordinary because like they're built up a pattern. So probably this person started small, right? And
No, the actual card, the card has been doctored so that when it is used, it always says, "Oh, it costs $18.91. I'll pay $18.91," even though it's not using real money.
Oh, so
yeah,
what is it doing?
Crypto? It is tricking the payment readers.
Oh, well, he probably designed the payment readers at this point. Go around for the card, right?
I've known a couple guys that worked.
Well, everybody like just has to design something. So when people are like, oh, here's how you build a computer and here's how you hack it. Probably the people who built computers are also the ones who realized how to hack it because like, oh, I saw what big tech does and I don't like it. So I'm gonna make my own hardware system and operating system, right? Because like people build their computers physically build their computers all the time. It's like
I'm impressed. I just wonder, did he do it too long? He did it for 17 years. Should a brother have tapped out at 15? Was 16 the max? Sweet 16?
If it's going, it's kept him alive this long, right?
So then when he does that jail time, you good with that? You finally got caught. It's finally time to pay the piper, to finally pay up.
Is that time? If he really was calculating, he would have been like, all right, how much have I spent? At what point does this become like a misdemeanor or felony? And where's my sentence? Like, if he wanted really to be that calculated, then yeah, you probably should have stopped because you're like, okay, worst case scenario, they haven't found me. If they find me, then I'll only do this time and maybe I'll get away with it. But, sounds like he's racked up. If he did crazy spending, if he did 1891 every day, I don't know.
Traveling, shopping. I think this brother did thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. 17 years? Think how many times you've used your debit card over the last 17 years. We know you're only like 20, but that's a lot. That's
a lot, yeah.
Like whatever the cash register says is what that card is going to approve.
I mean, you could easily spend 1,000 a day.
Easily. For 17 years.
Groceries alone, or just takeout, right? You could
How many dates you can go on? What?
I wouldn't pay for dates. I'd be like, this is not for me. How am I gonna spend?
Oh, you keeping okay. I like that.
Unless you're trying to bring them in and be like, oh, well, I wasn't the only one who stole this money. Somebody else.
Oh, I got you.
But no.
Reports from the early 2010s say Beyonce gifted Jay-Z a customized Bombardier Challenger 850, reportedly worth around $40 million, turning long-distance travel into a flying home with a bedroom, kitchen, bathrooms, and lounge. The jet, marked with S. Carter, symbolizes how celebrity relationships can operate on an entirely different scale, where gifts double as lifestyle infrastructure for two global performers balancing family and business. Do grand gestures like this strengthen celebrity relationships, or do they mainly reflect the unique pressures and lifestyles that come with global fame?
I don't even think it's pressures. I think at that point, it's like you're trying to show off at that point. Like, it's just showing like, I have all this money, I can get it. It's not even like, yeah, it's like, what do you get someone who has everything go buy it themselves, right? Like, you're not impressed at that point. Or unless it was like, I want this, and it's like, okay, well, I'll get you specifically what you want, because I'm sure it was there. It's funny because they're like, oh, the kid was especially what he or she wanted, right? So it probably wasn't a surprise. It was probably something they were already getting, and you just said, oh, instead of using your billions, let me use my billions to purchase that. So it's not, and pressure, that's a personal problem. If you feel pressure to get a $40 million jet, I don't feel bad for you.
Gardiner's Island is a 3,300-acre private island off eastern Long Island that has been owned by the Gardner family since 1639.
Oh, okay. Wow.
When it was granted to Lyon Gardner by the English crown. It's one of the largest privately owned islands in America and is famous for the pirate Captain Kidd burying treasure there in 1699 that was later recovered as evidence. If a family can hold a private island for nearly 400 years in the United States, should land like that remain private forever or eventually become public?
No, it should remain private. Why? Who are we to put a time limit on it? Because then if you do that, then someone's going to say, well, you own this house for 10 years. It is now public.
And Polly, if I find out a pirate buries something on my island, Captain Kidd, I'm going to dig it up and then rebury a little something, something. But I can't let them come get the whole thing, Polly. You gonna let them come get it all?
Yeah, for fair value.
I
You got to dig it
I
up.
don't think that's how it works. They're gonna say it was stolen merchandise. You don't get a founder's fee. It was on your land illegally. I feel like
At some point, if it's left behind,
yeah,
it becomes essentially finders keepers. That's where
yeah.
the comes from. But eventually, it becomes the person's because it's or also like you didn't know it was lost, so you can't say it was lost.
Okay. So you're okay with this family still getting this island that they made a deal with some Native Americans 400 years ago, and they still have it in that family?
No, because with all of the land we're on here has been stolen. But if you start doing that, then you run the risk. We're like, okay, your family had this for 100 years. Your family had this for 50 years. And then that just sets a precedent that now we're just going to take people and cut them from underneath their, or like take the rug out of their feet. And then what's the limit? Because most mortgages are 30 years where, people are bitter that like, oh, their grandparents like grew up in New Jersey and they still have the house. Okay, and that's probably, let's say, 70 years right there. So that the grandkid could get that, and then why the great grandkid, then it can be taken away from them. So we all know, and not everyone acknowledges, but like all the land is stolen. Like that is a fact. But we're now in this situation. So what do we do? Because if we try to be like, oh well, I'm not, this is not my land, it's not my land, nobody's going to do it, and then instead somebody else is going to take it and be like, well, you want to relinquish it. Where are the Native Americans to reclaim it? We killed them all. So
Yeah.
who's going to reclaim it? Who can we even give it back to?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Or
You're
all
right.
of a sudden it's like, oh well, I'm 0.0658% this, so it's my land. So you run a large risk going down the 400 years is enough for you. On the other hand, you'd be like, wow, the fact that you all got through any familial conflict and were able to keep that in your family for 400 and not give it to a developer that made a large hotel and block Long Island's view, then like that's something else to notice.
Yeah, it is. Polly, I'm gonna ask you to name 5 famous sports that uses a ball that doesn't have it in the name.
Okay. Soccer, water polo, lacrosse, rugby, tennis.
Okay. All right. Okay. I thought that was gonna be harder. Oh, I probably should have said 7 or 8. Okay, you knocked it out. Hey,
7 or
this is
8.
why we got you. The Polly Pocket's the best in the West. This is what we doing.
Ping pong,
Okay.
a 6.
Yes.
Field hockey.
Oh, now you just flexing on them. You just flexing on them. Hey, y'all get in the comments if you can name 7, especially if you get 7 other ones that she didn't name. In 1996, Chung Zae-kyung kidnapped the son of Lee Ka-shing and collected $130 million in cash. But the real lesson was power. Money without systems, access, and legitimacy doesn't last. Does real wealth come from the money itself or from the networks and infrastructure that protect and grow it?
I feel like those two come hand in hand. When you have wealth, then you have all that networks and things to protect it, right? Like you can get insurance. More, you have insurance. You think about insurance because if you don't have a lot of money, you're not thinking about insurance because what do you have to insure?
Mm-hmm.
Then when you start having wealth, you start having multiple cars. How do you protect your cars? You have to house them, garage them, repair them. So you have that network in terms of not just knowing people, but also belonging to something that other people in society just don't get to experience. Like,
yeah,
like the people who have that 400-year-old land, right? They have a different network than anyone who has a home for 10 years or is still paying off their 30-year mortgage.
Yeah. Aisha Diaz said on the Earn Your Leisure podcast that a man would need 45,000 to 50,000 a month to keep up with her lifestyle if he wanted to date her, saying she's spoiled and that she values security. Bow Wow clapped back after the clip went viral, saying, "That stuff was free to me." Is setting a financial requirement like that just being honest about your lifestyle, or does it turn relationships into a transaction?
What does he mean that stuff was free to me?
He used the S word. In Ray J's terms, he hit it first, but for free.
Oh, is she bitter at him?
Nope. She ain't even clap back at him. He just inserted himself into the conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, 45,000 a month is excessive. Can she do that on her own?
No.
So why would you automatically I don't think it's reasonable to be like, well, I only spend 2,000 on myself right now monthly, but once I get a guy, I have to spend 22,000 a month. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Unless
so she's not being honest about her lifestyle.
No.
And so she is turning it into a transaction.
She is, because it's like, that's what you want to be able to have. Like, unless you have, it'd be different if I bring in 45,000 right now.
Right.
Be with me. You need to bring in 45,000 minimum, because I want it to be a partnership where we bring it equal. Right.
Okay.
Like, oh, he's a guy who doesn't do anything. Because he brings in $1,000 and she's bringing in 6,000, right? And so she's footing the bills. So if that's what she means, but that's not what she means. She just says, like, I need someone to take care of me, and they need 45,000 a month to do that.
Yes.
Because I'm sure there's a house she wants to live in. I'm guessing that's why it's 45,000.
Yeah. Yo, Polly, what do you know about cats? You ever had one? No. You like them?
No.
If you had to pick from a bunch of cute kittens, which one is female? Which one would you pick between a calico, a black cat, and an orange cat?
What color is the calico cat?
They're multicolored.
I guess that's the closest thing to like a little fluffy white cat. I don't know. That's because you didn't give me white cat as an option.
I didn't.
Yeah. So the calico.
Hey, not bad. Calicos are 99% female.
So in that one cat, 1% of them is male?
Yes. Now you know.
The other ones are 100% female, or
no, but that's just a weird fact about calico cats.
They're not all.
You got it right. How the heck did you get? None of us know that.
Just a guess. I don't know.
Yo, Polly playing a lottery tonight, people. Y'all make sure y'all get in the comments and get her to send you some numbers or something. God, how'd you get that?
65 is the first number.
I don't know how you did that. All right, let's take it back. In 1975, an Indian artist, P.K. Mahanadia, fell in love with a Swedish student, Charlotte von Shedvin, in Delhi. And when she returned home, he couldn't afford a plane ticket to follow her. So in 1977, he rode a secondhand bicycle nearly 4,000 miles across multiple countries to Sweden, proving his love 1 mile at a time. Would you call that the ultimate romantic gesture, or is love only real when someone is willing to sacrifice everything to prove it?
Isn't that sacrificing everything to prove it? Because he sacrificed his body and muscles and may have never ridden a bike before then. That's why it took him 2 years to get there, or to start the journey.
He might have lost a ball on the way. I mean, woof.
I'm sure
busted a butt cheek. That's rough. But she gonna turn him back because he don't make 45 to 50. Bubba Wallace was in position to win at the Auto Trader 400, but chose to block Carson Hocevar instead of staying with teammate Tyler Reddick, a move that cost him as Reddick took the victory. Frustrated after finishing 8th, Wallace was so disappointed he couldn't even look at team co-owner Michael Jordan as Jordan tried to console him. Was Wallace's aggressive decision a sign of a driver trying to prove himself, or did he overthink the moment and cost his team a bigger finish?
The second. Why would you do that? That's so petty.
Okay, so to follow up on that, when Michael Jordan comes over to console you, was that disrespectful not looking at Michael Jordan? I mean, that's Michael Jordan. Sometimes our emotions can be too much for us and we're consumed by them and regret it later, right?
He was already consumed with his emotions when he decided to block the other car. There's no going uphill from that guy. And Michael Jordan was probably just trying to console him so the public wouldn't say like he's a bad owner.
Yeah.
Realistically.
You ever been to Europe?
Yes.
Would you go back?
Yes.
Europe is
throw a fact at me to make me not want to go back. Hit it.
Europe is entering an era of queens as countries like Belgium, the Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden prepare for a new generation of female monarchs, including Princess Elizabeth of Belgium and Crown Princess Victoria. With succession laws now favoring the eldest child, regardless of gender, history isn't just repeating itself, it's evolving. Do you think this shift toward female-led monarchies will meaningfully change how modern constitutional monarchies operate, or is it more symbolic than transformative?
I think it's just more symbolic. I don't think anything necessarily is going to change. I think it's just going to be like, oh, we just have more people, different people now eligible.
Okay.
So, which is also good for the people who only have girls, right?
Yeah.
So they felt outcast for a while.
William A. Clark Sr., one of Montana's Copper Kings, spent 14 years and $7 million building an over-the-top 121-room mansion on Fifth Avenue. Buying a quarry, railroad, foundry, and importing treasures from aforementioned Europe, only for it to be mocked as Clark's folly. He sold it at a loss and demolished less than 20 years later.
Wow.
He lived in it for just 14 years, and his daughter, Huguette Clark, who inherited the fortune, ultimately chose to spend her final decades in a hospital room instead of any of the family's massive estates. Does Clark's rise and fall mansion story prove that extreme wealth and legacy building are ultimately empty pursuits, or was he simply ahead of his time and unapologetic about building on his own terms?
I think people don't think about the future in the long term, right? Because right now, these celebrities are like, I have 15 rooms, but it's just me. Okay, what's going to happen to those 15 rooms? If you keep it, all right, you have 3 kids. Who gets the 15-room house? Like, they're not all going to live in it just so you can throw parties. Well, at this point, someone needs to come up with the system and be like, hey, here's all these like 6 Airbnb houses that you can just alternate your parties in. Because, you know, like Kanye had that weird house in Malibu that I don't think he ever lived in. But neighbors felt that it was an eyesore. And then he sold it. I don't remember. I think he sold it. I don't remember, you know, how that went. But then he had his whole Wyoming plan. How is that going on? Because he thought he was going to be Kimye and have all that backfired. So just people just like think that like, oh, I'm going to do all this. And because they don't live realistic lives, I think their plans are sometimes unrealistic too.
For nearly 5 decades, Robert Morin quietly worked at the University of New Hampshire Library, living frugally and investing wisely before leaving almost $4 million to the school when he died back in 2015. Controversy followed when about $1 million of his donation was used for a new football stadium scoreboard instead of strictly academic purposes. Do universities have a moral obligation to align those large donations with the donor's profession and values? Or is it acceptable to allocate funds wherever the institution sees the biggest impact?
If the donor didn't allocate it, the school can do whatever they want. Unless you decide specifically like, hey, this is 4 million to be used for the lifetime of the library and to buy books, then great. But at the end of the day, like, is it the right thing to do? No, based on this guy. But are they gonna do it because sports is king? Yeah, that's what they're gonna do.
So this happened. Dan, a month ago, currently trapped in a Chili's bathroom because they're out of toilet paper. I called the restaurant from the stall twice to ask for a refill. No one has come. It's been 15 minutes. My fajitas are probably cold. Dan. That was his post. He was calling the wrong Chili's the entire time. They just came to my rescue, and I don't know how to delete reviews. Those were the reviews he put. Polly, what are your thoughts on people putting trivial reviews out there?
I hate it because of my I've seen those where it's like, my food wasn't ready, and it was like, because on time because I didn't place the order on time, or my food wasn't good because I ordered the wrong thing, or the restaurant was closed, 0 stars. Like, okay, and the restaurant was closed, but you didn't go there. It doesn't tell me a lot about him because he also decided to go to the bathroom without checking for toilet paper. So there's that. 0 reviews, I have questions, especially if there's a picture, if I can see how many reviews they have.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I need more information about you, because it's always the people who have that one bad experience that decide to have this very emotional review. And I'm like, oh, okay. Is it you or is it the place?
Hey, Polly, should family or should people be hesitant when those commercials, sort of like we were talking about earlier, when they come on and then like you hear side effects are nausea, failed blood pressure, dizziness, like they give you all that bad stuff. Should that be scaring us off?
It's not supposed to scare you off. It's just a part of the legal thing of like, yeah, there's a 0.05% that you could have a blood clot. But
Okay.
then they have to say it, because if you give them the numbers, then that's why, someone one time sued a company because they didn't tell them, and then, or it wasn't enough in the fine print. That's why if you take, like, you get a shot, right, and it's like side effect could be fever, headache, swelling at the area, redness,
Yes.
pus, and you're just like, okay, duh, it's not my first time. But if they didn't give you that, like, back 2 pages back and front with all the what should I do in this, someone would come up with a new lawsuit. So
Yeah.
but I know people that are like scared. They're like, I'm not gonna do that because that's gonna happen to me. It's like, okay, I mean, that's on you.
Before we get into this, do you know where the phrase "don't drink the Kool-Aid" actually comes from?
No.
In 1978, more than 900 members of the People's Temple died in the Jonestown Massacre after leader Jim Jones ordered a mass cyanide-laced drink in Guyana, marking one of the deadliest non-natural disasters in American history.
Wow.
How do intelligent, everyday people get pulled into situations of blind loyalty? And what warning signs should we be paying attention to today?
Everybody does it, right? There's like red flag, red flag, red flag. And what do? They just drive by it, because even those people have been there and told you, like, don't date this person, don't go here. They're just like, well, I want to be the explorer and I want to figure it out myself. So, we all have that person where it's like, try doing an intervention, but at some point they don't care. You can't do anything about them. We can sit and see all the issues and the warning signs, but something's not there to tell them it's a warning sign.
Yeah. Hey, Polly, you got $1 million in your bank account?
Nope. I spent it all on my
Uh,
house.
we can tell. A man who accidentally received $1 million in his bank account chose to serve 1 year in prison rather than return the money, boldly claiming, "This is my come up," despite knowing it was a banking error. The case went viral, sparking debates about morality, legality, and whether risking jail time was worth the chance to keep an unexpected fortune. Polly, if you suddenly had $1 million mistakenly deposit into your account, would you return it immediately, or would you be tempted to take the risk? And what does that say about personal ethics versus opportunity?
I wouldn't take it. I'd hope that someone will give me like, hey, here's an inconvenience, $250 on your next credit, on your next statement for the error.
Oh my God.
But I also have more life to live than a jail. However, if he's by himself, if that was an opportunity where he's like, I don't have a job right now. This he's probably not going to be a felon. It's probably going to be a misdemeanor, or maybe he's got some other side gigs that he's pursuing, or like he's a plumber, right? So maybe he doesn't need, like, this doesn't really matter to him, and then in that year he's not paying where he stays. He's not buying anything. So in that 1 year, he could take that 1 million and invest it, especially if he knows something. So he's just like, well, I got to invest it in something that I can't touch.
Yeah.
And then he walks out with 1.2 million. Maybe he's not going to pull a Jay-Z and go spend it, 60% of his life savings on something. And maybe he's going to be like, well, I'm going to live smartly.
Yeah.
Then it's worth it to him.
Hey, the come up is the come up.
Yeah.
if that's how you feel, make moves, because that's how you feel.
If you live paycheck to paycheck and you got $20 in your bank account, but after a year you can have $1,020,020.
Respect. Wahlberger Dolly Osterreich began a secret affair in 1913 with a teenage repairman, Otto Sonnhuber, and hid him in the attic of her home for nearly a decade without her husband, Fred Osterreich, knowing. In 1922, Otto shot Fred, that's the husband, during an argument. They staged it as a burglary, and years later, the truth came out. Yet both ultimately avoided lasting punishment due to legal technicalities and a hung jury. How do you think a story like this exposes the flaws or strengths of the justice system when it comes to deception, delayed confessions, and statutes of limitations?
We have to start first. How did the husband not know for a decade?
When's the last time you went up in your attic?
I don't have one.
Okay. Yes, we see your roofs. We see your roof there. Okay. What about the previous house you had? Did that have an attic?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure you didn't go up there then. You don't even know.
But you would hear footsteps.
Would you?
Wouldn't you be suspicious?
Depends on the sturdiness of the house.
Wouldn't you be suspicious she's always like gone somewhere?
I would not.
13, she's not working.
She's working at keeping a boyfriend hidden, but I got you.
Boyfriend. Some issues.
Okay. In June 2025, solo sailor Marcus Hale said a 45-foot humpback whale followed his 35-foot sloop for 3 days during an Atlantic crossing, even shifting to the windward side during a Force 8 squall and seemingly reducing the wave impact. Marine biologists later suggested the whale's behavior matched rare documented escort cases, possibly mistaking the vessel for a distressed calf or instinctively aiding a fellow traveler. Do you think this was true animal instinct to protect, coincidence during a storm, Or are we sometimes too quick to humanize wild behavior when extraordinary moments happen?
No, I know, Mount. Like, there's animals are smart, right? Varying degrees of intelligence, but that's the first thing I thought. Like, did the ship look like, was it a mating call? You know, what was the? Did you like hang fish out? Did you just smell like fish everywhere? For it to be rare,
Yeah.
I'd like more information. Like, okay, what makes it rare and what makes this feasible as opposed, and did it actually happen? Like, when did this happen?
2025.
Oh, okay. And nobody was able, like, he didn't text anyone. Did he text anyone? Or it was like, oh, for 3 days they followed me.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
that's us. Sounds like fake news.
Well, I can give you another news article.
Oh, okay.
In Good Housekeeping, a new article in Good Housekeeping, it warns that shoveling snow can sharply raise heart attack risk, especially for men 45 to 50 and older with known or hidden heart disease due to the intense strain of lifting heavy snow in freezing temperatures. Experts say age, fitness level, and underlying conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes matter more than pride, and recommend safer options like pushing instead of lifting, taking breaks, or hiring help. At what point does toughing it out become reckless when it comes to physical chores like shoveling snow? And how should people realistically assess their own risk as they age?
Listen, it's always a risk, right? Like, you don't see females over the age of 45 being eager to shovel snow, right? That's why I talk about men, but anyone over the age of 45 is going to be at greater risk for all this. Okay.
Yes.
What do females end up doing? They go to yoga, they do Pilates, they do stuff that's not, intense. Like, you can ease into it. They do some hot yoga, help the heat relax you. What do men like to do? Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Football's on. Hey, guys, we should go outside and play football, tackle football. And then what happens next? Someone tears an ACL because it's a bunch of overweight guys who played football like 20, 30, 40 years ago who still think they got it because they're really good at watching sports and commenting on sports and all this. And then their back goes out, or, oh, my shoulder's still sore. Females, we just know we're not gonna do it.
Hey, Polly, hold on. I want to jump in there though. If you know that your house needs to be shoveled, a lot of times, are the women going out there to try to help their guy? Like, are they saying, hold on, my guy's 45 to 50 or older, I can stay in this nice warm house, or my spouse, my mate, let me go. If they got to go put in the work, I need to go do the work with them because I'm going to enjoy the clean walkway. That would be half the work that gentleman would have to do if his spouse would come help.
Nope, she's got to stay inside, make sure the heat is on, make sure he's got some food when he comes in, make sure he has some things to look at when he comes home. So she's got enough work to cut out. Because he ain't going to do the laundry. Is he ever going to be like, hey, I'll do dishes because I see you're doing dishes, so you do half, then I'll do half. You cook half, then I'll cook half. I'll clean half, then you clean half. When's the last time you cleaned your bathtub?
Polly, do you really think that's physical? That's physical labor as shoveling snow? One can kill you. Doing a load of laundry ain't gonna kill you.
Oh, you don't do enough laundry and you've never washed the bathtub on your knees.
Polly, how many people you got in your house?
Enough to have to wash bathtubs and do multiple loads of laundry. In fact, I got one right now. My next commercial break, I gotta go switch it from the washer to the dryer. Okay.
Okay, then we gonna keep you busy, so
not everyone
so
has
you can't slide out.
Who is taking care of everything else in the house while you sit and shovel snow that melted.
A woman went viral claiming that she bailed Shia LaBeouf out of jail during Mardi Gras in New Orleans and says she got triple that, implying it wasn't just kindness. She referenced his Holes character, Stanley Yelnats, in her post from Bourbon Street. What does this say about celebrity culture? Are moments like this clout chasing, loyalty, or just part of the wow relationship between stars and fans?
What did she get 3 times more of? His bail money?
She just left it out. She just left it out. We don't know.
Chasing clout at this point. Like anyone who would be like, oh yo, I saw this guy at a random tennis tournament, let me talk to everybody about it because I basically know him. Okay, he used to play for some sport and I saw him I right there, I saw him, I couldn't touch him, but I saw him, so I tell everybody that I know him and that I'm like, oh, on this level. Okay, she's doing the exact same thing.
What? What? All right, clout chasers, you have been put on blast. Polly says, stop chasing. In 2017, Burger King Argentina removed the Whopper from all locations for 24 hours and urged customers to support McDonald's McHappy Day fundraiser for children with cancer. The bold move sacrificed short-term sales, but generated massive global attention and long-term brand goodwill. Was the genuine corporate goodwill or a brilliant marketing play disguised as charity? And does it matter to consumers either way?
I think it was a great marketing strategy, and consumers, honestly, like, I don't think they cared. People who wanted a Whopper were very upset about it, and then maybe they got alerted about some charity. They probably weren't going to go donate anyway because they were trying to buy a Whopper, and they're not going to take that money and go spend it at McDonald's. Well, they might, but right. So the argument would be like, oh, McDonald's isn't on my way, although that doesn't sound like it'd be feasible. But no, people probably just didn't care. And for them, like, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, okay. People are like, oh, Burger King did a nice thing. How cute. I'm going to go support them. And bam, here we are. Because at least if you go to Burger King or McDonald's, you can get some food out of it. If you give it to charity, you have nothing. Your heart just feels good, but that doesn't make your stomach feel good.
Relationships.
Of course.
Hey, Polly, when your friends come over, does your boo thing do weird things and act different? Like, for instance, your friend that comes over is a talent scout. And so your boo thing is in the kitchen, or maybe doing some laundry like you was talking about, but singing while she up in there doing some laundry.
He better not, or he got slice that.
But everybody needs their shot at fame, Polly.
Not with the people I know, because if you screw that up, then what I get? Then I'm known as the guy, as the girl with the guy who has that weird singing thing while he does laundry in an apron.
But Polly, your boo thing is understanding you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. It's a talent scout on your couch, like in your house.
There's a reason she didn't call him. Sure, you heard about him, right? She didn't want him.
Polly, before the Offspring became a 90s punk powerhouse, original drummer James Lilia left the band to pursue medicine and later became a gynecologic oncologist. In 2018, while on trial in a malpractice case, he saved a juror's life with CPR, prompting a mistrial because the jury witnessed the dramatic rescue.
Wait, so he was on trial for malpractice?
Yes.
And there's a reason why his band was The Offspring.
When real life heroics collide with the justice system, should that moment matter in court or be completely separated from the case?
Yeah, separate, but at that point, you can't unsee what you've seen.
Yes.
So
I feel like I had a lot of legal items for you today.
It felt like that too, trying to get me on some technicalities.
Hey, Polly, we didn't formally ask you for legal advice, so don't worry. We were just asking you for your opinion about things that had already happened legally.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Okay. All right. I just, I want to make you. I mean, you look like you're sitting on some lawyer money back there when we look at your house behind you.
See my bookcase right there with all my
Ugh.
books.
It looked like your bookcase got its own room.
It does, absolutely. There's also
That's your library? You got a library?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is a podcast room with my books.
You have to have a library.
And I got some glasses. I got my eyewear over here.
Can't see it.
All right.
Not on camera. It doesn't count.
It doesn't matter if it. Yeah. Yo, Polly. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking with Donato.